Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another post-game live stream podcast bonus episode. I really need to figure out what this show is actually called. We're on episode 91. It's been almost 100 episodes, and I still have no clue what we actually call this. But I do know
the missing links.
What's that? The missing links. That's the technical term. I just don't actually. I'm Andrew Dukowiyz from Sports Illustrated Zone Coverage, among other people or places. And we do have another person, is kind of what I meant to say, that has 4,000 jobs. Noa Dalzell joining from CLNS Boston, Celtics blog, SB Nation. You do TV stuff out there now. Like you're everywhere. How's it going?
Yeah, you want to do my taxes for me at the end of the year?
No, I do not.
That's the only downside of this lifestyle. Other than that, I love being able to do work for so many different outlets.
I mean, it is the fun part of being able to just like kind of be a hired gun and just like, oh yeah, this TV station wants a segment. Like, absolutely, let's do it. I think I will be a freelancer until I die because I really enjoy that part. But tax season does suck because, we're probably not getting good returns.
No, definitely not.
Mary Beth in the chat already jumping in says Andrew knew we needed this. Yeah, I got the vibe from all of the DMs and comments after the Ringer WNBA show dropped last night. But I do want to start on a lighthearted note. Have I asked you the basketball question of who forged your basketball mind yet?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so it started with Sirit, ironically, 2 months ago. I asked her who developed, when she was growing up, who did she watch that kind of forged her opinions on what is basketball, kind of took her from just a fan to a basketball sicko sense. And I've been asking all of the bonus episode guests because we've had everything from Laura Taylor to Steve Nash to Steph Curry. So I'm curious of who yours are. I can probably guess, but
you probably wouldn't guess. Actually, it is Steph Curry.
Okay,
which
interesting.
Is ironic because obviously I grew up a huge Celtics fan, and my favorite player growing up was Rondo. And just that whole, that whole Celtics core I really liked. But Steph, I think, turned what was a hobby and an interest into an obsession. I recorded all the Warriors games and I would watch them. I wasn't a Warriors fan. I actually rooted against them when they played against the Celtics, but I just liked watching Steph play. It was like listening to my favorite album. It was the same idea. And to this day, probably the only NBA player that I'm starstruck by is Steph Curry. I'm glad I don't cover him because I'm so I love Steph. And I 3-point shooting in general to me was always the coolest part of the game. So him being kind of the trailblazer of that was big for me.
So Olivia Miles and Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, this new point guard era must just be nirvana for you then.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, my biggest bias that I have as a basketball analyst, and I've talked openly about this, is that I so prefer to watch guards than bigs.
Yeah.
And it's I will always find an Olivia Miles player more exciting than the most dominant big in the league. And you can't be, you can't be biased, right? I have award votes, things like that. I fight against it, but I love the flashy guards. It is so fun. And we were in the golden era, so it's a great time to be a WNBA fan.
So when an awards ballot gets published and it's 5 guards for all WNBA first team,
no. See, that won't happen because I'm aware of my biases and I'm fighting them. But I also want, I'm being honest. It's even worse on the NBA side. On the NBA side, I'm because I don't find the 7-foot big that can, just use force to play well, that interesting to me. And the WNBA side, it's still more skill based. So yeah, anyways, we don't need to do a psychological deep dive, but
no, we do. This is all we do on this podcast is psychological deep dives. I mean, people that are new to the show, if anyone is at this point, mine were Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson. I never really rooted for a team. We didn't have cable when I was growing up. So it was whoever's on NBC and whoever the short guys were the people that I was ride or dying with. And then as I got older, it was holy shit, Jason Kidd and Steve Nash can orchestrate everything and score 12 points a game. It's just how I view basketball is very much through the like, how can you impact the game without having the ball, which, you know, kind of fits now and is something I have to fight with because Anthony Edwards, Olivia Miles, and LaMelo Ball always have the ball. So
That's
yeah,
true.
I hear you on that one. Cleveland Sirens drop their oh, weird. If it's choppy on YouTube, it should get better at some point. Sometimes if there's like a cloud in Minnesota, the internet sucks. If you rewatch it or listen
Oh,
to
it's
it
fixed now.
tomorrow, okay. Just to finish my thought, if you rewatch it or listen to it tomorrow, everything gets uploaded like from the computer into the internet after we record. So it should, like, if you missed something, it should be better on a rewatch. But Cleveland Sirens, that's where I was going. Awesome. Thoughts?
Okay. If we're talking biases, like I want a team in Boston so bad that every time there's a new rollout of like a sick new logo and video, I feel like the SpongeBob meme of like I want to be there too. So cool. I love it. I love everything about the rollout, the video. I like the Sirens. I like the concept, but yeah, I'm so jealous because I want a team in Boston so bad, and it's not happening. And all these other cities are getting lucky, but yeah, I think it's so cool. When we've seen how hyped like the tempo have been this year, the Fire. I mean, obviously the Valkyries are like the gold standard for expansion. So there's such a high bar now to clear to be a team joining the WNBA. And it seems like they all kind of are ready for the challenge. Like everybody feels like they're putting the pieces together well.
I don't know how this is weird because I immediately thought of like you and Boston when the Sirens video came
Thank
out,
you.
because that would have been a sick Boston
I
name. Like
know.
Boston Sirens would have been sick.
I'm so annoyed. Hmm.
Is like, I guess from your perspective, like, would you ever like just cover a team full side from Boston, or
I low-key wanna do the Lynx. Like, I love the Lynx. I'm like, "What if I just took the Lynx over?" And I was like, "I cover the Lynx now." But in truth, like, my job is to cover the league, the entire league. And I know there will be a team in Boston probably in a few years, so I look at it as, like, a win for my work-life balance. Like, I would be at games every other night the way that I am during the NBA season, and instead I can go for a run or, like, be social. So, that's kind of how I've been reckoning with it. But when I see you and like your life and how you can bounce back and forth from like two great teams, and I love the connection of it too. Like even the video today, I saw the video of Olivia Miles working out where LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards, like that's all I want is to
it's
cover like that
literally an
type of
Avengers
situation.
movie?
Yeah, so
Like,
cool.
I mean, I'll say it is. The Wolves and Lynx are really interesting because they kind of share everything.
Yeah,
So in the off seasons, when I'm just like going to cover a Lynx practice, I'll just like run into LaMelo Ball in the elevator, or just random Rocco will be like walking in the Skyway, and you know it's cool that way because you see guys like during their off season or off breaks where you can just like say hi and talk to them for 5 minutes and how's your day type of stuff.
yeah,
It is a little like not having, this is technically like my off season right now because the Lynx are the only thing going on. There isn't like a playoffs or a preseason or an all-star or anything like that. It is a little grueling, but at the same time, it's like, what is better than just like sitting in the gym, watching people get up shots and then going and talking to the coach about all of the questions you have, right?
yeah. It's super cool.
It honestly is really cool. Should we talk about the actual kind of a topic of Napheesa Collier and
Yeah,
just,
let's do it.
I know you prefaced me before the pod of like you don't have any super crazy insider information, but I am just kind of wondering from the national perspective, like where are you sitting on these rumors kind of keep
Yeah.
circulating and coming up every month or so that Fee might be unhappy, or Fee and you know, Sirit's show last day, maybe Fee and Cheryl have a rift, or all of these kind of speculations.
Yeah, so I'll say first of all, I haven't heard anything directly, so I'm just giving my opinion. Um, you know, I would be I would be pretty surprised if a player of Fee's caliber who wants to win a title, probably I would imagine more than anything, walks away from this situation because I think this Lynx team not only is really good right now, but if I had to pick a team, if I was a player, I had to pick a team that's going to be good for the next 5 to 10 years. Like I would pick Minnesota, even though other teams have younger cores, because it's just clear that they know what they're doing from an organizational standpoint. And they just drafted a generational player that's already an MVP candidate. And you just have faith that no matter, like, I don't care who walks in the offseason, like you, at this point, you kind of know that this organization knows how to kind of stay on top. And so I would be surprised if she left for basketball reasons. There's always way more to it, right? She's a mom. They have Unrivaled. Like there's more to life than just like winning a championship. And so I can't speak to personal reasons why she would want to head elsewhere. I can't speak to her relationship with Cheryl or anything like that. But anytime you have a player on an expiring contract, especially a player of her caliber, one of the best players in the league, there's just going to be speculation. I mean, I know we were talking about this right before we started recording, but on the NBA side, this would be unheard of, right? Having a top MVP candidate on an expiring contract. Like you either have to extend them or you're trading them for value, right? And we just saw with Kelsey Plum what happened when there was some indication she wasn't going to resign in the offseason. You have to make a trade and you have to recoup some of that value. And they did a good job getting a first and a good young player. And that was great for Los Angeles. But if you think that there's a good chance that Fee is most likely going to stay in the offseason, like you're not going to trade her, right? And now the deadline's passed. So that's it, right? Like she's going to play out the year. I think the Lynx could very well win the title. Obviously it's hard to actually do that, but they're my pick right now as it currently stands. Not a hot take, just they've been playing so good. But if they lose or they flame out and, you see them not actually end up winning the finals, and she's a free agent and maybe they lose in the first round, you never know, right? Last year, I never would have expected they wouldn't even make the finals. So maybe she wants to test that free agency. And even then I wouldn't be, just because she's testing it out doesn't mean she doesn't come back to Minnesota. But I think this angst just stems from the fact that she's a really good player on an expiring deal. And her preseason comments to me, and you were there, I wasn't there, but from what I saw, were not like super reassuring about her long-term future. So that's all I know. I don't have anything like current, but I get it from just the standpoint of like, she's going to be a free agent in 2 months. Right. And so, and she's a big name and this is a poignant comment. I think the Lynx are really consistent. So there's not much to talk about other than that. Right.
It is like Fee at the beginning of the season, I think was in a different space where it's like you have had dual ankle surgery. You're not going to be playing for like 9 months total at that point. There's like I'm sitting here on August, 4 months of her recovery left. You just saw Defensive Player of the Year walk, Napheesa Heidemann walk. You see Dejanay not get re-signed. You see even like Masha gets sniped in the expansion draft. BC gets sniped in the expansion draft. And you're looking at a team that has 4 players from the team that won the most games in the league last year. And I think it's fair if you're Fee to sit there and go like, what is happening? I'm 29 years old. I've now had, missed almost a full season having a child and now going to miss almost another full season with ankles. How much longer am I going to play? I think everybody in Minnesota knows that Fee's greatest accomplishments in life are probably going to be off the basketball court. And who knows if she's going to play 3 more years, 5 more years, 6 more years. I don't think anybody knows. So if you're Fee and you're sitting there going like, I have 3 to 5 years to maximize the amount of championships, the beginning of this season, I was one of the more optimistic people. And I was like, if they're 500 in the 6th seed going into the playoffs, this has been a success. Jude brings up preseason stuff with some A-Rod and Lori overhang. That certainly could be part of it too. I do know the Oval Office picture that A-Rod took didn't sit well with a lot of WNBA players. I don't know if that's Fee specific, but I assume that has been repaired. I mean, she has been at A-Rod's house a couple times for like dinner parties and stuff. I don't think you do that if you detest the guy. Cassidy tuning in from what I can only assume is the bowels of the Star Tribune office. So thanks for coming in. But everything's changed. Like Olivia Miles is awesome. They're the best team in the league. They have the number 2 defense and offense. Cheryl has pulled Nia Coffey out of nowhere and Natasha Howard's an all-star. I mean, I kind of agree with you. It would be almost unheard of at this point for someone to walk away from this type of situation. I can't think of anyone, at least. Can you? Like on either
No,
side that would walk
I
away
can't
from
on
this
either
type?
the NBA or WNBA side, and um, maybe I'm not thinking hard enough, but it's just it seems like she gets along really well with her teammates from what we've been able to see. Like I haven't seen anything like that. She doesn't seem like she's someone that I don't know. I know people. I always see the discourse of like whose team is it. I know people have done the whole like Olivia Miles, versus Fee thing. I based off of the personality that she has from what I've gauged, I would can't imagine that would be a big concern, like that kind of rhetoric. Also, I feel like on the WNBA side, you just don't see that as much as on the NBA
Yeah.
side. The NBA side is always like, whose team is it? Who's leader? I don't feel like on the WNBA side, it's like, no. So
It honestly is.
right?
Britt Robinson from Minpost is writing for Racket and covering the Lynx this year. And I've talked to him a few times of just like, could you imagine just like Rudy Gobert going up to the podium and giving all the credit to Julius Randle? Like that would have never happened ever.
No.
Like ever. But in the
And even
WNBA,
just
it's
like
every game.
Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark, if that was an NBA team,
Oh
especially
my
with
God.
how polarizing Caitlin Clark is, the whole discourse would be one versus the other. And it's like even with the Indiana Fever and all that comes with that, that hasn't really been a huge thing for the most
No,
part.
they seem like they genuinely like
No, I
each
think they
other
love each other.
and
Yeah.
just are
So
like
it's just
rooting for each other.
uh
It's
so for
and I do
for
think
the
that is
trope
part
about
of it.
women being jealous of each other, food for thought. Because I think we see more of that on the NBA side, I say as a beat reporter. So
I would love that.
sorry, that was totally a tangent. But point
No,
being
great
that I
chance.
think that wouldn't be a factor. That wouldn't be a factor in her leaving. But at the same time, life happens and she's also been there her whole career. Maybe she just wants to go somewhere else. There's I always say that to be like when people are talking about where players want to go and maximizing their odds, it's like there's just like it's their actual people, right? They actually have to live in
Yeah.
the place. And you mentioned I didn't even know where she lived in the offseason, but you mentioned she spends more time in LA. It's like, I don't know, maybe she wants to be in California during the season. Like I have no idea.
Mhm.
But if I'm in Minnesota, I would do anything to keep her because you have a really good thing going. So you definitely are not going to trade her because you're worried that maybe she'll leave.
It's one of those like, yes, Fee lives in California in the off season, but like also it sucks here in Minnesota during the
Yeah,
winter. So like Fee gets to be in Minnesota when it's like nice out.
that's true.
And I do think that matters. Like I do think the Timberwolves, some players look at this and go like, oh God, why would I want to live where it's like negative 15 degrees for 6 months?
Yeah.
But it is interesting. The Cheryl stuff also, I don't know if you have any insight of it, just from again hearing stuff from the national perspective, but like
I haven't heard
I'll be
anything.
honest, there are some players that do not like playing for Cheryl Reeves. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure the chat can at least name, I would say the over under for chat being able to name in the next 5 minutes is like 7 players that
Okay.
had a very ugly fouling out with Cheryl Reeve. Cheryl has also been pretty candid of like she focuses on players that fit their culture, and their culture is it's hard. Like if you don't play defense, you don't get to play. If you do not show up early, if you're not doing the same drill, clapping on cue to break huddles, like it's a very kind of organized, superstitious organization, right? And if you're a player that doesn't vibe with that, you probably are not going to vibe with Cheryl Reeve, and then you get traded or released. That being said, I mean, Fee is the most Cheryl Reeve coded player, I think, on the roster right now. Like everything is about winning. Everything is about the process. Everything is about like the lineage and like what Sylvia Fowles taught her when she was a rookie and how she's passing that forward. It would be somewhat shocking to me if it came out that Fee and Cheryl just don't have a good relationship.
Yeah, I would be surprised too. And this comes up a lot on the NBA side, but I feel like I really don't like speculating on people's relationships when I don't actually have like insight because it can be so easy to like have a narrative just blow up. Not that that's what we're doing, but just in general, like unless I hear something concrete, I usually just assume everybody's fine. And sometimes
Yeah.
they're not. And then you learn, oh, actually they didn't like each other. But
How's
yeah.
the Jaylen Brown network going out there?
What was that?
Everyone turned out to hate Jaylen?
No, I wouldn't say that. No. But I think that's a perfect example of like a relationship that I covered that was very scrutinized. And it's like, I just usually just don't indulge too much because at the end of the day, also you don't need to be best friends. You don't need doesn't have to be always picture perfect. But like you said, yeah, I mean, Phoebe seems to be such a coachable superstar, and I think it's been a really good partnership to date. I haven't seen any cracks. I mean, you would know. I mean, I feel like you would
We'd
probably
be
have
talking about it. Like if there was fallouts, I feel like we'd be talking about it pretty regularly of this is a weird you'd be hearing stuff like you heard with the Wolves all season of like the moodiness and guys not locking in, and it's just not that way. This is a very, very healthy locker room. It's honestly, out of the 6 locker rooms I've been in, this is probably the best vibes one, even better than the power of friendship ones. And you make a good point. Like, you don't have to get along with everybody, but
you have to get along. You don't have to be good friends, you know?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I think that's one of the things you go back and you look at these historic teams, you know, on the NBA and WNBA side, and it's like, oh yeah, those 2 guys like never hung out outside of practice, like, and that's okay, you know?
Yeah.
And so I love the friendship side of basketball. I love like being like, oh, these 2 bench players are like really close. And like I know we're gonna talk about the Lynx Fever game, but like watching the way that Courtney Williams and Olivia Miles interact, like it's so fun, you know. It's like cool to see a backcourt that like meshes personality wise too. But it's not a requirement. Sometimes like you can just keep things professional. I loved watching, you know, the Stud Buds when they were teammates. Like that was fun, but you don't need that, you know. Sometimes it's like maybe it's even better to just be professional and not have it. Like that was not a shot at them. I love them, but you know.
Can I ask you a court related question? Because you have disclosed on this podcast that you are a big Courtney Williams stan and she's your favorite player. Has this been like a redemption thing like this season and the last 2 years? She's
always been good though. Like I think she gets
right.
so scrutinized. Like her PR is better now, but like even in years past, there were so many big moments and big games. Like I think I covered the Sun Lynx game 5, to make, you know, the year they went to the 2024, the year they went to the finals, and I was covering it as a Sun beat reporter, and she shows up for big moments. She hits big shots. I mean, in that finals series, like think about her big 3, the and 1 3 in New York. Like I think she's been playing better, and it's really good to see her be the secondary, you know, ball handler, and Olivia Miles has obviously like thrived so much in that role. But I think like I know that she can sometimes be one of those scrutinized players because she has these moments that are bad, which drives fans crazy. Like that was the thing with Jaylen Brown. It's like it didn't matter how well he was playing, he would have these moments that just looked so bad, and some people just don't want to see those moments at all. And I feel like with Courtney Williams, she's having just like a year with far fewer of those moments, but still like the scoring outbursts and that energy that she plays with and the clutch shots and all that.
She's also just so cool. Like so cool. After every basket she makes, they play Let Me Cook over the like PA, which is just the coolest thing to have play after you hit a shot. Courtney didn't even know it was happening. Like I literally asked Liv about it, and Liv was like, "What do they do?" And Courtney's like, "I've never noticed that in my life."
No way. That's so funny.
Like, I thought you requested that. She's like, "No, I don't pay attention to that stuff." And it's like, how are you so cool and also just like really good at this? Normally you got to be, there's something that you can point at and be like, yeah, that's a problem. But Court is just, she's just awesome. And I know the Indiana game, she had insane heroics of just daggering that kind of mid-range shot in the fourth quarter. She got benched the game before that. Like,
and being able to handle
that's insane.
Is so rare, right?
Yeah.
Like I was actually Lynx Celtic or Wolves Celtics connection. Like I was just doing a podcast about Mike Conley and about how I really like that signing for the Celtics because he's somebody that if he doesn't play, it's like no big deal. He's not going to like throw a fit in the locker room if he's not playing. And that's what that's what you want with your minimum players. You don't really get that with your starting guards, an all-star guard. You're not going to get it's very rare to find an all-star guard that is willing to genuinely beat Chipper after getting benched down the stretch, and then the next game come over and dominate down the stretch, right? And I give a lot of credit to Cheryl Reeve and like the Lynx culture and infrastructure, but you have to be able to take it as a player too. So I like love that part of her too.
They benched her at the home game against Toronto almost the entire fourth quarter for Tony Dallaire, who is a now 32-year-old rookie that has never scored more than 9 points a game professionally across any league. That's insane. And Court in that game against the Tempo was like as pumped on the bench as anyone in that arena. And I don't know, covering Courtney Williams has been like a spiritual experience, because it's just to have someone that's, again, that cool, that good, that selfless. She's super down to earth and just like willing to be emotional and raw. It's just, we need more Courtney Williams in society, I guess is my point, right?
And from a media standpoint, like, what a dream. Because this is the part that I don't think fans think about that much, but like a player that is willing to just like talk off the cuff and joke around, and like the first year, that 2024 season where I traveled and covered the Lynx, I was like, oh my God, like this is a dream.
It's the entire team.
Yeah, it's really, it's really something. Not so much Fee. I feel like Fee's a little bit more buttoned up.
Fee's buttoned up until there's only like 3 media members.
Got it. Okay, so
when there's like 2 or 3 of us, you can get her laughing and opening up quite a bit. But like Court, K-Mac, T was really good with media. Jess Lan, even like Tosh has been really subtly funny. Like just, Dallas doesn't protect the paint type of funny. Words with Dirt says you're so lucky to cover Uncle Mike. Yeah, get ready for all of the nicknames, because dude has a billion of them that aren't on Basketball Reference. Have you been able to link up with Mike at all yet?
Oh, Mike is Mike Conley. I was like, yeah. Uncle Mike. I was like, oh God. No, I haven't. We haven't met him yet. He didn't do like any intro press or anything. But I did at Summer League. Like I ran into some Grizzlies people and some Wolves people, and everybody was like, oh my God, you guys are gonna love him. So I'm excited for that.
He's the only person that actively seeks out talking to like media members that I've ever.
Can't wait. I can't wait.
He'll just be like sitting at his locker listening to like R&B music, and then he'll see the media come in. He'll just like stand up and go say hi and like talk to you. If you catch him like in the tunnel, he'll be like, "Oh, how are your dogs doing? Like, how are things?"
I wonder if Boston will take that out of him, because I hear that about players sometimes, and then they spend 2 weeks in Boston and they're like, so we'll see. I'll get back. I'll report back.
Frederick. We need to get out.
Has he only played for Memphis and Minnesota? Am I missing?
And Utah, but Utah's the same. Like Utah.
Exactly. This is going to be his first time, like Boston sports radio, like 30 people on the beat. It'll be interesting.
He did a weekly radio segment with like the biggest sports radio station up here, K-Fan. He did one in the drive time hour home and one during the day every single week for like the 3.5 years he was here. Always volunteered for like interviews. I mean, the thing I appreciated most is just he, again, being like someone who follows point guards. And I know this is turning into a less Lynx podcast and a more just old people talking about players they're covering them podcast. But like, he would just sit there and give you like a 6-minute answer on like why offensive rebounding at the point guard position has grown in its importance over his career. And like,
I'm so excited. This is
what is behind it. And it's just like the amount of knowledge you gain from just talking to him is wild. And then again, how willing he is to just talk. Also, one of his kids is like a hockey savant.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I don't know if his kid's going to stay here playing.
Good intel.
What's that?
I said good intel.
Yeah, like really good hockey player. Mike Conley's fascinating. There is one stretch, I think they had 2 games in 3 nights, and he also had a hockey tournament that same weekend, made it to every hockey game, and also played the 2 and 3. Like that guy, Medal of Honor him, because I don't know how he exists like at all. All right, back to Lynx talk though. Cheryl Reeve, any last thoughts on just Cheryl?
I love Cheryl. I mean, I think like we don't need to make this all like political and stuff, because I know there's been enough of that, and I've been trying to keep my coverage on basketball. But I just think it's so cool that she seems to be like almost like a stewardess of the sport in a way. And like the WNBA has changed so much, a lot of it good, a lot of it, new teams, better infrastructure, better practice facilities, but she's kind of like the one carryover or one of the carryovers from the older era of WNBA. And it's cool to see that it succeeds today. You know what I mean? Like I always say that the WNBA has been NBA-ized. I need a better word for that. But with all the former NBA coaches and all that, and it's just like she's just one of the ones that is just doing it the way that she's been doing it, and it's working. And yeah, it's I'm a big Cheryl Reeve fan. That's part of my Lynx fandom. It starts with her for sure.
Yeah, the Ghost brings up write a book, Andrew. Funny story, Terry Horseman from the 9 is actually writing a book on this season. It should be published in the next 18 months or so. So there will be a book that goes into some of the behind the scenes, like political stuff, as well as roster and all of that stuff. So it's not pre-orderable yet, but I think great year to choose to write a book. You get the rookie of the year
until you see how it ends. That's as someone who, I'll just say this, I've been derailed based on some
no.
You can probably fill the blanks, but I hope for Terry's sake that there is not a blown 3-1 lead in the first round of the playoffs. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Sorry about your book.
It's okay. It's gonna be a better book in the future, Andrew.
Let's go to a quick ad read. When we come back, I do want to just talk to you last 13 games for the Lynx, get your thoughts on their schedule, and then we'll get out of here. Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. All right, so Lynx have 13 games left the rest of the season. 10 of those games are against playoff teams right now. The only games that are not are Portland, Sparks tomorrow, or Sparks on Thursday, and kind of throwaway game at the end of the season against Connecticut. I mean, 10 out of 13 games against playoff teams. I guess, what are your thoughts on kind of the end of the season for this Lynx team, knowing that it's going to be just kind of ridiculous?
Yeah. No, I mean, they have a hard close to the season, but they also have a 4-game lead in the standings. And truthfully, having the number 2 seed is not the end of the world. Like, that's not the concern. My concern would be like playing your best basketball going into the playoffs and being fully healthy. And it doesn't really matter if they drop a few games in the process, because that's just that, right? I think a lot of times you see these great regular seasons. You covered one of those last year, and then things kind of fall apart in the postseason. A lot of times injuries are a factor. They sometimes kind of fly under the radar because people think about some of the basketball plays that happen on the stretch. But I think it's not a bad thing though, because you're playing high intensity basketball, entering a moment in time where you're going to be playing very low margin, basketball. Like, that's what the playoffs are, right? You can't have a bad week at work in the playoffs. And so I don't think it's a problem. I mean, if they were, there's some teams right now in the standings that are very much vying for positioning, that I think like 3 through 6 are like 1 game apart or something like that. So, or 2 through 6. So for those teams, like, there's a little bit more angst. You'd much rather be the number 2 seed with home court advantage than be 7th. And so those teams, like, I've had a couple of beat reporters on my podcast, and we've talked about standings and all that. But if I'm Minnesota, I'm not even really worried about it, because in truth, there's no reason I think they're gonna lose the number 1 seed. 4-game lead with that few games left to play feels pretty safe. But even if they did, that's not. I'm more worried about just like how they. If everybody, I just want everybody to be healthy to start the postseason. To be honest,
Health is the most important. Cheryl, we asked her about it just after the game of what's the kind of key to the end of the season for this team, and her answer was basically figuring out how to give people like defined roles over the rest of the season. She brought up Nia Coffey in particular of like, how do we still keep her, engaged doing what she's doing best when she's going from 32 minutes a game to 12. And I think that's pretty in line with what your thought process is too, of just like stay healthy, use the rest of the season to make sure you're playing at your best when it matters. I mean, for what it's worth, playoff seeding really doesn't matter this season other than the home court. The Lynx current path to a finals would be first round against Washington, second round against Atlanta. And then if it goes in order, you're playing the Aces in the finals. I mean, there is all 8 playoff teams this year are going to be ridiculous, which like, how good is that for the game that it's just going to be just banger series after banger series?
No, it's amazing. I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's been such a good field of teams. Like, and I know it's like in theory always, but some years you just feel like there's just more talent than other years, or more excitement, or just interesting matchups. And I think this is going to be a really good playoffs, regardless of kind of how it stacks up. And I'm really curious to see if some of these teams, like the Aces, I always have faith in, because how can you not when they've won 3 of the last 4 titles? Like, they're always a safe pick, regardless of the day-to-day product you're watching there. But I'm really curious, like, are the Dallas Wings fool's gold, or are they going to be able to hold up in a playoff environment? Like,
yeah.
Olivia Miles, as amazing as she's been, like, is anything going to change when it's postseason basketball, right? She's still a rookie, right? So there's a lot of intriguing questions. And I can't wait.
I mean, Valkyries, what does
Yeah,
that
that's a good
look
one.
like? How do they score in the playoffs?
The Valkyries feel a little bit like the Celtics of last year to me.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have a regular season machine, you're playing really good defense, you're the harder playing team every night. But like when it all slows down, is your 11-man rotation gonna be cut to 6 and you lose your magic a little bit? Like that's something that I had Kenzo Fukuda of Clutch Points on yesterday.
Kenzo. And
yeah, he's awesome.
Kenzo, he's awesome.
He's awesome. Yeah, and we were talking a little bit about that. But yeah, there's a lot of teams that I'm like just not sure exactly what to expect.
I mean, even Saxy brings up Lynx struggle against scoring bigs. First off, yes, I think we all wish Dorka played like a scorer. Maybe there's still time. Who else can we rely on? At this point, no one. They have Dorka as the really only player over 6'5". They just signed Chloe Bivy. I would assume she's going to be their small ball 5 if Dorka doesn't work out. But more to your point, Mr. Saxy Prince, current playoff run for this team is Mystics, Atlanta, and Vegas. Those are all monster teams that, I mean, that's just going to be it's just going to be an awesome playoff run. Even if the Lynx lose, I know fans will be devastated and the Lynx will be devastated, but like, sign me up for 5 games of the Mystics and the Lynx, right?
Oh yeah.
That's the one thing I am, to bring it back to the beginning of the pod of just Cleveland getting added into this. That's the one thing I am kind of worried about with the expansion teams. Are we going to get the dilution where it's, now the first round of the playoffs is just kind of like, are they going to beat them by 20 every night, or can that team steal a game? Because right now it is. I wouldn't.
Wait, what's going to be the playoffs?
Aces are going to play New York in the first round of the playoffs.
I don't think that the whole idea that there's like maybe not going to be enough talent with these new teams I feel like it's kind of been dispelled over the past few years, just seeing these overseas players come in and honestly like take a lot of the spots that people were expecting the NCAA standouts to get. And so I think we've kind of seen that, or even players like Carla Late, who wasn't even playing for the Valkyries in the playoffs last year a whole lot, and now she's like a franchise player potentially. Marina Mabry, like what she's been able to do. So I feel like there's a whole lot more players that are uncovered, and just the whole idea that there are players that are on like the hardship contracts that are coming in, like Odyssey Sims last year. It's like you need more spots. So I'm kind of curious to see how it'll kind of play out.
Me too. And then you watch Connecticut play, and it's like, woof,
Yeah.
woof. No offense to your.
No, you know what? That's Houston's problem.
That's last thing I have for you, and then I'm gonna do some affirmation. You can get out of here if you want, but it's in honor of Sirat. She approved that we can do some Lynx affirmation and steal her bit. But Kelsey Plum to the Mercury, that's ridiculous. Like the Mercury are 4 games out of the playoffs with 13.
And then she looked so good yesterday. They did
look so good.
I'm still anti the trade. Also, from what you said, it doesn't sound like she's like at all committed to extending in the offseason.
Exactly.
Like, maybe they have like a 20% boost because of like, I know there's a financial incentive and they can win her over, but that was a crazy move. I mean, to give up a first and Monique and for potentially a rental that won't even play in a playoff run, most likely.
If they finish at like 10th and she leaves in the offseason, like everyone should be fired.
It's so Phoenix. Like it's so Phoenix Suns, you know? Like it's the same vibe. But I don't know. I mean,
so on brand.
What is she? There's 6 games behind.
I think it's like 5.5.
5.5. I mean, it's just not enough time. If it was like the NBA All-Star, we had like 40 games left here.
Yeah,
I'd be like, okay, plenty of time. They'll make it up. Like they're a talented group. They underperformed to start the year. They were, whatever. But it's just not. It's like mathematically, like they have to win every single game, and they have to hope that other teams falter. Like it's just, I wouldn't take that chance. So
I think they have 13 games left. Don't completely quote me on that, but like to make up a 5.5 game deficit, they'd have to go 13-0, and the other team would have to go like 7-6.
Also, it's the Liberty. So like the Liberty are not. I don't think the Liberty are going to like.
The Mystics aren't either. Like the Mystics are a competent basketball. It's insane. It's insane. Like
I was just thinking, like I did a pod with Brendan Glasheen talking about like where Kelsey Plum should go, and it's like because of the rental piece, and it sounded like she wasn't going to commit to an extension. It's like which team is willing to maybe rent her for a playoff run because you're that set that this could be your year. Like with the Valkyries, it's like they could win a title this year with one more piece. It's hard though, right? To add a player like midseason, like chemistry wise, it's a challenge. But
salary
maybe the Dallas Wings,
the WNBA, like the salary matching stuff sucks. But like, you can't tell me that like Plum makes less than Lan. Could you just do like Alana Smith and all of your first round picks and bring Plum into down? Like,
but then if she walks, you're like, is it worth emptying the cupboard for like a player who might leave? And it was a little bit of like a desperate trade for anybody to make if you didn't have any sort of long term assurance. And I think the Valkyries were not desperate because they like what they're building, and I think the Wings were not desperate clearly. So the Mercury were, and I was just not expecting that one, but. I'm rooting for her. I mean, I'm rooting for them. I would love to see, like, that would be a good story. It's just
AT in the playoffs is a good thing. Jude does mention they have 3 games against the Mystics, so maybe that makes it a little easier if they sweep all 3 of those, but then you're still saying the Mystics are going to go 6-7. So outside of Mercury games, they're going 6-4. Like that, I don't know. If they miss the playoffs, everyone but Nate should be fired because I like Nate. He legitimately seems like a good coach and a good guy, but
I don't get what happened to that team. Like we watched them beat the Lynx last year in the playoffs, and then they come back this year and it's like unrecognizable.
Satu is good, but she's not like.
But the way they were losing, I mean, part of it was that Kalia Copper also couldn't make a shot for the first few weeks, and Water totally found its level there. Like she's been playing really well, so. I don't know, but I'm curious to see. That's definitely one of the intriguing storylines of the season now is like, can this Mercury team like somehow sneak into the playoffs? Because if they can, I mean, if they go crazy now.
Can you imagine Mercury sneak into the playoffs first round, Lynx Mercury?
And it's like a Mercury team that's like 13-1 in their last 14 games, or something crazy like that. Kelsey Plum,
This is why sports are so. I know I said it like after the Fever game of just like, the best thing about sports is like what happened on Sunday, where it's 6,000 or 8,000 Lynx fans, 8,000 Fever fans, and they just all forget about all the hatred in the world and just watch basketball for 2 hours. But like, also, this is just the coolest freaking like, this is just the coolest part of sports is there is a realistic chance that we're going to have a first round rematch against the team that blew out Fee in just the first round.
It's crazy.
And then you have 2 more rounds after that. It's insane.
No, it's crazy.
All right, Noah, I'm going to let you run. You're a busy person. We're going to do some Lynx affirmation and then we'll get out of here, hopefully under an hour. But thank you, Noah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, Lynx fans that are remaining here. Sirit Sohi at the end of the WNBA podcast does something called affirmation, where she gives some affirmation for the guests that are there. So Lynx fans, if you care to close your eyes, breathe deep through this and just repeat after me that no matter how many rumors come up the rest of the season, Napheesa Collier cannot leave until the season is over. I think that's one very important thing to remember, because I am assuming there's going to be rumors after every good Fee game, and there's going to be rumors after most of these Lynx games. She will be on this team for a playoff run. And I think, you know, if you're going to be negative about it, maybe the thing that gives Fee the most runway to leave is winning a championship here. But again, breathe in. Fee cannot leave the Minnesota Lynx until this offseason, which means they're going to have an insane chance at a championship. The other thing I would say for positive affirmation of Lynx fans, Cheryl Reeve has risen 4 banners in the Target Center and has 5 Hall of Fame jerseys hanging in the Target Center. Even if Fee does leave this offseason, Olivia Miles is still here. And you still have Cheryl Reeve, not Reeves, did the thing that I hate when people do. That probably spiked everyone's good vibes. So breathe in. We still have Cheryl Reeve. Breathe out. Breathe in. We still have Olivia Miles. And breathe out. And with that, I am going to leave everyone in the chat. Thank you for tuning in for a very late notice Missing Lynx post-game live stream podcast thing. Couple of just addendum things to add on. John Krasinski from The Athletic is going to be joining us on Thursday. All Lynx, part of kind of our agreement last year was that we're going to just do a Lynx centric podcast. So Wolves will only be brought up in passing. Bring questions. He wants to do a live stream, so we are going to be doing it live Thursday afternoon. And again, bring questions, ask John things about the Lynx. He is a pretty big fan of the Lynx. His daughter's pretty invested in Napheesa Collier and Olivia Miles. Normally, first bonus episode of the month, we do have Sloan Martin on. She is at Big Ten Media Day for volleyball. So she is going to be coming on next Tuesday to do the bonus episode. And then we also should have Britt Robinson on as well. So with that being said, thank you everyone for listening, and we will catch you on Thursday with John.